Facebook faces the looming threat of fines from a growing list of federal and international agencies. It's been over a year since the public learned that a UK-based political consulting firm called Cambridge Analytica exploited Facebook's business model to influence the US presidential election in 2016. Since then, though Facebook's top executives were hauled in to face critical congressional leaders, its users and investors don't seem to care. The company, if users don't care, regulators might. There are several agencies thought to be still investigating or charging Facebook over its data practices, although several agencies declined to confirm the status of their investigations. Here are some of the government arms that are thought to be scrutinizing Facebook as of late March. The FTC's investigation of Facebook, which the agency confirmed last March, reportedly centers on whether Facebook violated a 2011 agreement with the agency that required Facebook to receive explicit permission from users before it shared their personal data. Facebook could face a record. An FTC spokesperson declined to confirm the status of the investigation or provide comment. The Securities and Exchange Commission and the Federal Bureau of Investigation both began probing Facebook last year following the Cambridge Analytica reports, Facebook confirmed in July after reported their involvement. The agencies are prosecutors from the Northern District of California were also working with the SEC and FBI to investigate the Cambridge Analytica scandal, according to which it earlier this month is still active. Spokespeople from the SEC, the FBI, and the Northern District of California's U.S. Attorney's Office declined to comment or confirm the investigation. Prosecutors from the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of New York have been conducting a criminal investigation of Facebook, reported earlier this month. A grand jury in The Times in June that Facebook gave broad access to its users' data to at least 60 companies with which it had data sharing agreements. A spokesperson for the Eastern District of New York's U.S. Attorney's Office could not confirm or deny any investigation. The U.S. Justice had filed a civil complaint against Facebook on Thursday, charging the company with discrimination in its advertising practices for housing. The agency a senior HUD official told CNBC it expects that millions of users may have been affected by the allegedly discriminatory policies based on the scale of Facebook's platform. A Facebook spokesperson told CNBC Thursday that it was surprised by HUD's decision to file the complaint but said it will continue. The European Union's data protection watchdog group has launched multiple investigations into Facebook's privacy practices. Ireland's the investigations largely centered around whether Facebook or its subsidiaries violated the European Union's, which came into force last May and is generally stricter than US data privacy law. In a statement, the Irish DPC confirmed it currently. Facebook was scheduled to appear in front of an appeals court in Brussels for a 2-day hearing this week to challenge a 2018 court order, which said it must stop tracking users and non-users without consent, according to the. In a press release published Tuesday prior to the hearing, the DPA said that it stands by the court's initial ruling and believes that Facebook has appealed a February from Germany's Federal Cartel Office that called into question Facebook's business model and said it overstepped the boundaries of GDPR, especially in light of what it called Facebook's The FCO gave Facebook 12 months to change its data and cookie policies to comply with the ruling. A spokesperson
Smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park.